Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing a video that I've been seeing going around. It's the palette tag. You talk about your oldest, your newest, your smallest, your largest, your most memory, whatever, just everything about palettes. So that's what I want to do now today. I want to do my most everything palettes. So it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a long one, but it feels like it's going to be a long one, just because I'm going to try and explain everything, and, you know, I'm going to have a little bit of a backstory and background to stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and jump on in. I have a really messy stack going on. I don't know how this is going to go, but let's go ahead and jump on in. Make sure you're like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. And make sure you ring that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload. Okay, so starting with my newest palette, it's this new J. Kissa and Elf palette, To the Rescue. It's really cute. I haven't opened it, so new. I want to do a review on it, obviously. That's why I bought it, and well, actually it's super cute. I am a dog person. I have two beautiful dogs. One's a rescue, one was shopped for. Don't come at me, I'm sorry. My baby girl, she was, I was going through something in my life. I really wanted a dog. I did shop. So, I wasn't really educated on the whole situation with, you know, animal shelters. I mean, everyone knows about them, but, you know, I wasn't truly informed of, like, the access of, you know, breeders and all of that, puppy mills and all that. But, my first dog was, shopped for. My second dog was adopted. So I love dogs. I'm a dog person. I thought this was super cute, and I love the idea that money is being donated to an animal shelter. So pit bull shelter in LA, which is really cool. So anyways, that was my newest. Oh my gosh, I'm already talking too much. My oldest. So I have two for this category. I decided to feature my oldest ever palette. This is the Almay Intense Color. I think this is like super duper old. I think this is probably more than 6 years old. It comes with a little spongy thing. I used this, I don't know if you can see. You probably can't. Okay. I used this shade a whole bunch. It's like digged into. It's like chunked out. And this bronzy shade as well. I didn't use the purpley cool toned one as much, but I did use that one as well. I also had a Maybelline one. I bought them at the same time. I went to Big Lots. They were like $3 and all that stuff. And I bought this one and a Maybelline one, and I was so happy. But I couldn't find my Maybelline one, unfortunately. But this is my oldest palette, but I don't use this, obviously. It's super old. I want to say it's 6+ years old, 7 probably at this point. Time flies. But the oldest palette that I still use, and it's probably not good to use it at this point, seeing how it says it's only good for 6 months, but I never listen to that kind of stuff, because who's going to go through eyeshadow in 6 months? But it's this Mario and ABH collab, and I'm sorry to show you guys this, because this is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my god, I dropped it. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's this Mario and Anastasia Beverly Hills collab. It is absolutely beautiful. I know it doesn't look like I use it a ton, but I do, like, if you were to be able to see, like, Fifth Avenue, I murdered that shade. I haven't even hit pan on it, but I murdered that shade. I use a ton of Paris, a ton of Marina, a little bit of Kim. I used a ton of Isabel. Isabel is one of my favorite shades. So pigmented, so beautiful. I wish they would bring this back, and like, so you guys could have it, because it's absolutely gorgeous. Or I could pick up a new one and throw this one out too, because it's kind of old, but it still performs exactly as well as the first day I bought it, which is crazy. This is so old. Let me know in the comments if you know how old this is, because I don't even remember. I didn't even look it up. I didn't want to look it up. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But this is the oldest palette I still use. Don't come at me. I'm sorry. Alright, so now my most expensive palette. Now, this is the Natasha Denona Tropics palette. I haven't even used this. I just bought this like last month. So I just bought this. It was on sale at Sephora for half off. So even at the half off price of $64.50, I think it was, this is still my most expensive palette, but I'm cool with it. It's $129 regularly. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Oh my gosh, I hope it doesn't, okay. Like, I don't want my mirror to give away the goodies. Okay, so yeah, this is, oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to use this. I'm not a colorful person, but I'm trying to get into color. I'm trying. So I did buy this palette in that hopes. I know it's a ton of neutrals with some colors right here, and that's kind of what kind of drew me in. It does still have a ton of pinks over here, like wearable pinks, and then some greens, some blues, and a purple. And like a bright yellow, and so I'm like, this looks beautiful. I'm gonna try this formula, the larger pan. It was 50% off. It was this one and the Safari, and I was having a really hard time, but the Safari has a lot more cool tones, and I'm like, oh, am I really gonna use the cool tones? I don't use cool tones. I really love warm tones. So I know these are colorful, but they're colorful warm tones. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna use this one. So even at $64, half off, this is still my most expensive palette. So clarifying, I only paid $64 for it. Only. It's still a lot. But I mean, it is a massive palette. Anyways, my cheapest. I feel like everyone's most affordable is these e.l.f. palettes. They're $3. They're awesome. They're amazing. I love them. I mean, I already talked about them a ton on my channel. If you haven't already noticed the pattern, I love these. And I have every shade now. Okay, so I think this one, I'm trying to think, most largest? I don't remember the order. I'm sorry. Okay, so my largest, I think I went out of order. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate. This is also my smallest palette. Yeah, it's my smallest palette as well. So that was, I think, the next one. I think the largest and then smallest, but I didn't want to double feature this one. Smallest and most affordable. Okay, most colorful and largest. So this is my largest palette ever. It's huge. I know this is a rip from Morphe and James Charles. The name was escaping my brain. Anyways, James Charles collab. But I do not support James Charles. So when I saw this, I'm like, ooh, I haven't used this. Again, I'm trying to buy palettes that kind of make me want to use color, or when I want to use color, I want to be able to have these kind of palettes. Something that, like, if I want to do a monochromatic look with the shirt I'm wearing, I want to be able to do that, and I'm gonna try and do that more. I feel like I'm doing that a little bit more today. I'm using, I mean, it's still pretty safe. It's like a neon orangey with yellow. It kind of goes with my mustard shirt. It looks really cute, I know. But I'm really trying to do more of that, more colorful looks. So I'm not wearing the same brown nudes on my eyes every single day, because that's boring, girl. But it's true to me, though. I'm a nudie kind of girl. Anyways, I saw this. I picked it up. It was like 20 bucks. It was awesome. But it's my largest and most colorful. So I'm sorry a lot of these are redundant, but largest, most colorful. Okay. So now, worth the hype. Modern Renaissance. I know this is older, but I mean, it's still available, and I feel like this was so hyped up for a really, really long time, because honestly, it was kind of new and different, and, you know, still very colorful, but very neutral, very safe, very pretty, very safe, but colorful. I don't know if that makes sense. So it has your pinks that I never used, obviously, because I'm not a pinky girl. I think pink looks really weird on me. I don't like it. But again, I'm trying to, like, expand from my comfort zone and not give you the same boring looks all the time. But I do believe this palette was worth the hype when it was so hyped up. It was so hyped up. So this one was definitely worth the hype. I still love it. I really don't reach for it anymore as much because of palette I'll mention later. So for not worth the hype, I have two palettes for two different reasons. So first one, everyone's gonna come at me in the comments. I don't care. The Jaclyn Hill original palette. So hear me out on this. I got the revamped formula. So when this first came out, I don't support Jaclyn either. So when this came out, I was like, well, I don't support Jaclyn. I really don't like her vibe. There's something about her I just, you know, I just don't want to support her, period. That's it. There's no, you know, there was no underlying issue. There was nothing personal. Obviously, she doesn't know who I am. Whatever. I just did not want to support Jacqueline as a person. So when her palette came out with Morphe, I was just like, yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. I kind of don't get it. I kind of don't like huge palettes like this anyways, unless I'm like the Wet n Wild one, unless I'm using them very rarely, but every day I'm not going to use a giant palette like this. It's just not feasible. And then 8 months later, I'm still hearing so much hype around this palette. It was so great. So, like, holy grail, best thing ever, best of the year, best release of the year, yearly favorite, everything about this palette. Everyone was still raving about it. So I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, it's just makeup. Okay, buy it. Who cares if you're gonna support Jacqueline? Just buy it. It's a beautiful, everyone says it's a great palette. Well, I got screwed because I got the new formula that sucks apparently. Everyone says the same thing. I tried using it twice. I was like, I don't get it. I was like, I don't get it, and I put it away and I hated it and I didn't know why. I'm like, this had so much hype that everyone said it was the greatest thing ever. I tried it once and I was like, tried it again. I'm like, I don't get it. I got the crappy formula. You know, I hate when a brand would do that. Like, it was so shady of Morphe to do that, something like that. And then with the excuse that they were trying to make it better, but obviously you didn't make it better, so go back to the old formula, but they won't, because the new formula is actually more affordable to make, probably. Most likely that's why they did that, because this was just too expensive to produce, so they wanted to enlarge their profit margins. So of course they were going to change the formula, make it more affordable. There's already a huge hype behind this. People are still buying it, you know, because their friend said it was so great and the friend had the original formula, and now you're buying the crappy formula, but it doesn't matter because you keep it because it's makeup. And I should have returned it. I didn't, and was not worth the hype. Sucked. Still sucks. People that like have the original form just still buy it though, even though it's, you know, a new formula. It sucks though. Like, are you really suggesting people buy a different or the same, you know, or a crappier formula than the one you have just because you think it's really great? But it's not the same formula. You can't recommend something like that. In my opinion, you shouldn't recommend something like that. So I do not recommend this palette. I think it's terrible. Yeah, even the color story doesn't call to me, honestly. I don't know why I bought it. Another palette, this one's way more recent, is the Amrezy palette. There was a ton of hype behind this palette. I tried it once and I was let down. Nothing of this inspires me. I don't know. I only used OG 1988, a little bit of this Anastasia shade right here. I didn't like it. It was meh. Like, it performed okay. For someone who loves, and I love Anastasia's form. I collect Anastasia because I believe their formula is like next to none. Huge letdown. Huge letdown. Just such a disappointment. I'm just not inspired. It's beautiful, but I'm not inspired to make a look out of this. There's just no inspiration. There's no vibe. There's no, like, oh, I can, you know, I can see that. Like, no, it's just like I'm trying to, like, what colors am I going to use? And I'm just like, you know, I've seen people make beautiful looks out of this, like one or two, and then they all end up looking the same. No shade Amrezy, she's gorgeous, she's perfect, she's absolutely gorgeous, but the palette is just, even as a collector of Anastasia palettes, I kind of regret buying this one. There's a lot of, I need a regrets video because it'd be a long one. Okay, now I already talked about which one was worth the hype. Yes, and the Renaissance. So my favorite palette is the Soft Glam. So that's why I stopped using the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Modern Renaissance. That's why I stopped using this one, because this one came out. And if there is anything more boring out there for you, it's probably my color story, my preferred color story. So, you know, out of these two palettes, which one's more boring? Which one am I using more? If I had to do away with my whole collection, I can only keep this one, I would be happy. I would be completely content. Like, but I mean, I love makeup in the sense, and I don't need to, so I won't. But this is hands down my favorite palette. Just my most favorite everyday. Oh, so this was like the everyday palette. My bad. Everyday palette. So favorite everyday, every single day palette. So now my most used. So as you can tell in this beautiful, beautiful soft glam palette, is I have made quite the dent in burnt orange. You probably can't see it. No, you can't. It is quite the dent. Okay, so, and it's only one shade. So when I bought this one, I was just like, oh my, I'm just gonna like run out of one shade and still have the rest of the palette. I do dip into a lot of these other ones. I've used Sienna, I've used Rustic, I've used Cypress, I've used Noir I just use as eyeliner, I've used Orange Soda, I've used a tiny bit of Tempera, and a ton of glistening. Like, I use this a ton, but every single day when I use this palette, I use burnt orange. So, I had to stop myself from using this palette because I'm like, I'm gonna burn through that one shade and then I'm gonna hate this palette. Which is kind of scary because I'm like, I just use it every single time. I did not buy that one, this palette to substitute that one, but it did in a way. So, I just stuck my finger in the shade. Such a dork. Okay, so I bought the Dominique's Cosmetics because it looked absolutely gorgeous and right up my alley. Right up my boring alley. I'm not saying this palette is boring because this one's still a little bit more exciting, but because of this shade, I didn't buy it because of the shade, I bought it because of all the shades, but except these two because I'm terrible at color. But I bought it for all the other shades. I talk too much. But caramel and burnt orange are like the same shade. Can you guys see that? So finally I was able to find a much larger palette with my favorite shade ever, and it works just as perfect, just as beautiful. I've dug into that one. I mean, you probably can't see it, but I have dug into that one. It is like full on dipped, and it's a huge pan in comparison to the Anastasia tiny little pans, you know, none of that. Yeah. They're like huge, like you could almost fit a blush brush in here, you know, like it's so massive. So I have made quite the dent in that one shade. So, I mean, I hope Dominique Cosmetics comes out with singles because I would just buy a ton of these and live happily for the rest of my life. Because that is like my perfect transition shade. So honestly, my most used, getting to the point, girl, oh my gosh. Dominique Cosmetics, just for that single shade, just that single shade makes this my most used palette like ever. Second place, just the colors. There's an honorable mention just because I do use a lot more shades in this one. And this one's more tightly pressed though. Yeah. I don't know why I checked the back for that, like the back says anything, but it looks like it's unused, but I use this a ton. I've used it a ton. But one thing you'll notice in my palettes, and I'm just gonna say a little disclaimer at the very end, why would I wait for the last minute to say it, but I switch between palettes so much, so even though it doesn't seem like I've used this one a ton, I've used this one a ton. Like, it is my most used. I know that it's my most used, my favorite. Like I said, if I get rid of all of them, I would keep this one. Or if I had to, my single most favorite ever. So, I'm a boring person. This is real. Just getting real with you guys. Getting to the grit. But yeah, that is that video. I'm sorry it was kind of all over the place. I'm kind of all over the place. Tired. I haven't filmed in a minute. I don't even want to say I've been busy. But I've been busy. Actually, now that I think about it, I have been busy. But I mean, like, I want to make time for this. I love talking about makeup, sitting down, talking to you guys, giving you guys my advice, my recommendations, my opinions, my dirty, ugly opinions, because, you know, I'm just gonna be straight honest with you guys, because I don't care. It's just makeup. It's just makeup. I'm not hurting anybody's feelings. I mean, some people might argue that Emery Z might take offense to something like saying that her palette didn't inspire me. It inspired everybody else that bought it or loves it. So that's just my opinion. So, yeah, the quality was crap. I mean, again, I don't argue that maybe the original formula was a great game changer and worth the hype. But this is the one I got, and it's the revamped formula that sucks. So, wasn't worth the hype. And I don't know why I gotta reiterate the drama, but, you know, people are gonna have different opinions. You just gotta respect it and move on, you know. So, I've gotten a lot of hate for even having a collection of makeup. It's like, okay, don't you collect something that you love? Like, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to agree with me, you know, but just let me have my passion. I love my passion. I love what I do. I love makeup, and I love having choices. I don't like being limited. Do I have a little bit of an issue? I think anybody that collects makeup might have a little bit of an issue, but it's not a huge problem. My problem doesn't affect you, so. Oh my gosh, why am I such a tea right now? Anyways, sorry guys. I'm just a little bit bitter about a comment somebody wrote on one of my videos. It hurt my feelings. Not really, no. Did get me thinking though, but I'm just like, why do you hate me? Why do you hate my collection? There's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people on YouTube with makeup collections, and you have a problem with mine. Why? Why me? Yeah, so that was kind of my, like, I don't get it. You come to my video about a collection, my makeup collection, and then you attack me for having a makeup collection. What? I can't make sense of people sometimes. I was like, so why did you come to my video? Anyways, sorry about the rant. I'm emotional and I don't understand people sometimes. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. See you guys in my next one.